Alright, this is John Colo at DiscountJuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you, and what we're going to do today is we're going to do a juice off in comparison of the TriBest Slowstar vertical single auger juicer, which is one of the top vertical single auger juicers that I've tested to date, against the all-new Omega VSJ843. So this is definitely one juice off I've been waiting for, because literally these two vertical single auger juicers, in my opinion, represent the best of the vertical single auger juicers out there for juicing, you know, the vegetables and the leafy greens. That being said, in general, the vertical single auger juicers do make more pulp than other style juicers, such as the horizontal single auger machines. And if you want to focus on juicing a lot and mostly leafy greens, I would recommend that style machine, in which case the Omega has the Omega NC800, and the TriBest company has the TriBest Slowstar 3 juicer. So the first part of this juice off is I'm going to go ahead and compare the machines side by side, some of the different parts and accessories that are included before we actually get into the juice off comparison. I do want to remind you guys that, you know, the yield test in the juice off comparison that I do is just one aspect of a juicer. There are many different aspects of the juicer that I would want you to consider before you purchase a juicer, because every juicer is a little bit different. There's pros and cons to every juicer in the market out there, and my job is to simply share these with you. Of course, the manufacturers are going to tell you one thing or another, because the manufacturers want to sell you their juicer. You know, I personally don't care which juicer you get. I want you guys to get the juicer that's going to work the best for you, that you're going to use the most. It's going to make the difference in your life, and that's why I take the time to do these videos. I mean, I use these juicers each and every day in my life. Besides just doing these demos that I share with you guys to know what's going to happen, you know, I use these on my countertop unless I'm traveling. Usually every single day I'm juicing something up in the kitchen, and that gives me the experience that allows me to share my experiences with you about these juicers. In any case, let's get into the comparison. This is the TriBest Slowstar Juicer. And this is the latest revision. So, you know, when the Slowstar did come out, it did have some challenges out of the gate. You know, it had some challenges and problems with the juicer leaking. So TriBest has updated the seals. Now the juicers include all new red seals that have pretty much eliminated this issue. In addition, the original Slowstar juicer did not include the spout cap, where all new Slowstar juicers being sold at this time are including the spout cap. If you did get an original Slowstar juicer without the spout cap, it still may be possible to get the free upgraded spout cap if you call the TriBest company. They were going to give a free upgrade to the new spout cap for only a small shipping charge. So the Slowstar juicer, besides just being a juicer, one of the things I want to point out that's different than with the Omega VSJ is that it's also a multi-function unit. It comes at no additional cost with this whole attachment here. This is known as the minching attachment, homogenizing attachment, whatever you want to call it. You basically put the auger inside this whole attachment, and it allows you to make things like banana sorbet, or also known as banana ice cream. You can also make other fruit sorbets. You could also make things like salsa. I've made salsa in here. You could also make things like the nut butter. I've also even chopped up my cabbage to make the sauerkraut. I have a video on that also. We've also used it to put through raw eggplant to basically homogenize it or break it up, and then we season it, put it in the dehydrator to have like basically a raw vegan eggplant meat instead of using chicken or something in tacos. Super delicious. So this attachment provides you a lot of different flexibility to process different products that simply the Omega VSJ does not allow you to do, because it does not include any kind of attachment or blank screen to do some of these. So I like this attachment a lot. So some of the other accessories that the Slowstar includes are, of course, a nice stainless steel strainer or sieve. You know, this is one of the nicest sieves or strainers that comes with any of the juicers. And, you know, the vertical juicers do produce more pulp in the juice, and I think every manufacturer should always include a strainer. Despite me haranguing manufacturers, many manufacturers still do not include a strainer. This is a very simple item to include on their end instead of having the consumer go out and purchase one separately. And when you're buying a couple $100 juicer, it should include a strainer, in my opinion. So I think companies need to get off their butt and start including them if they're not already. I'm glad that the Tribest Slowstar Juicer does. And of course, the machine also includes your juice catch cups here. These are rated up to 800 milliliters, and these are not quite nesting. I do personally like the nesting cups that come with the machines. Over on the Omega VSJ side, once again, there is no attachment like the Slowstar, but you do get two nice nesting cups, which is actually marked up to 1,000 milliliters, so this is marked more. And then also this Pulp catch cup is significantly larger than the Slowstar unit. Actually, you could almost fit their catch cup into the other one. A little bit bigger. So I like that a lot. Now, besides just the accessories included, another thing that is not tangible that I could explain is the warranties. On the Slowstar Juicer, the warranty is a full 10 years, which is definitely a long warranty, but Omega takes that to the next level and gives you a 15-year, 15-year warranty. That's 5 extra years than on the Slowstar. Nonetheless, warranties that are 10 to 15 years are the longest warranties in the juicing industry at this time, and I want to encourage you to get a juicer with a long warranty. I mean, you could buy an inexpensive juicer for less money that has a short 90-day or 1-year warranty, but what does that mean? That means in year 2, if the juicer breaks, you're going to have to basically go out and buy a new one. Why not buy something right, buy it the first time, get a juicer with a long warranty, so you're just not going to have to worry about your juicer ever breaking and you being out of your juice. Trust me, I've gotten plenty of emails from customers that, they get on their juice every day, they feel great, they're losing weight, they have more energy, and when they go without their juice, they feel different. They don't have the energy that they had when they're drinking the juice. And, I know many of my customers actually buy backup juicers, so they'll have a backup juicer just in case their juicer fails, because they want to be able to get their juice and, have the performance gains, the mental clarity, and the energy that the fresh juice provides. So, only getting a juicer with a long warranty will assure you that you're going to be able to juice, for the next 10 or 15 years, day in and day out, to get the health benefits that the fruits and vegetables offer. I guess the next step we want to do is we're going to go ahead and start taking these juicers apart here and sharing the differences with you. I mean, I know you guys can see some of the differences here. I mean, if you like more of a compact, sleek look, you're going to want to go with the Omega VSJ. I mean, this thing is almost like an art piece in your kitchen. And I would say the Slowstar Juicer is just a lot more functional and stout, if I had to put it in words. This guy, of course, is fairly tall. It's a bunch taller than this guy. It's a lot more short and compact. I kind of like the compactness of the Omega VSJ Juicer myself. Next, we got the main housing, the top parts. And as you guys can see, if we take these guys apart here, that's pretty much how they look. They both got little funnels on the top of the feed chute, which I like. It allows you to put things in and kind of taper off and feed them in a slow and leisurely pace. I personally kind of like the funnel on the VSJ. It's a little bit more functional. Has a little lip that's a little bit higher on the bottom side here. If we look, I mean, pretty much the opening is the same size. The next part of the machine I'm going to take apart is the main auger here. Now, the auger is the main workhorse of the juicer here. We got the auger on the Slowstar, and let's go ahead and get the auger out on the Omega VSJ. As you guys can see, these augers are actually fairly similar. They both got twin blades. So basically what happens is the Slowstar Juicer came out first. The Omega company, came and basically copied, the Slowstar design, because it was, in my opinion, superior to their existing design of the VRT series machine. So basically, the VSJ is a knockoff for all practical purposes of the Slowstar, and hopefully they've improved it. I always encourage manufacturers out there to improve the current technology, make it better, allow for an easier juicing experience, easier cleaning experience, more yield, less pulp in the juice, all this kind of stuff. And this is how the market and how people in the world will benefit from technology increases. So hopefully Omega has done that with the Omega VSJ. But basically these augers are fairly similar for all practical purposes. The auger on the VSJ is actually more short, so maybe that means a less contact time with the screen so that maybe there's less yield. I'm not exactly sure because I haven't tested it side by side. But basically you want to know that these augers both have dual wings, and then on the underside of the auger, I want to show you guys this. This is important because I know many of you guys will get this juicer, start juicing with it, and you'll be like, John, every time I juice, man, there's produce stuck underneath inside this auger, you know, and that is part of the design. The older vertical auger juicers did not have this as part of the design. In the part of the design of these two machines, basically the pulp comes down in the auger, basically goes down and then basically goes up underneath and then gets ejected out of the machine. This is inherent in the design. So the Slowstar was the first to have this design, and it worked actually fairly good because it deleted a part that would often get clogged up on other vertical slow juicers, which is a little hole in the screen. And then now the VSJ has also duplicated that. One of the things I do like about the VSJ duplication of this feature is that this area underneath the auger is actually a lot larger, so I can easily get my finger in. On the Slowstar, you know, it's a little bit tighter and I can't get my little standard pointing finger in there, but I can get my pinky finger in there almost to clean it out. Of course, you do get a special cleaning brush with both machines to get in there and clean it both out. The next part, of course, of the juicers are the screens. So let's go ahead and take the screens out and compare these side by side for you guys. Now check out the difference in the screens, right? The VSJ juicer screen is a lot more compact, and the Slowstar juicer has some nooks and crannies that you will need to get into and clean. Now if we look at the hole sizes on these two screens, they're actually looks like to be about the same hole sizes on the top set of holes, which is stage 1, and the bottom set of holes, stage 2. And if we look at the overall juicing area, it's interesting. The Slowstar actually has a larger stage 1 juicing screen area, so that means a lot more coarse holes than the VSJ, which has, you know, a similar hole size, approximately, maybe a little bit smaller actually, but less screen area. But then we move down to the stage 2 juicing, and if we compare that, it looks like the VSJ has actually more stage 2 juicing holes. So this will probably mean, you know, more yield that's actually at with less pulp in the juice. So I like this a lot. Now, if we look at the inside of the screen, I want to show you guys that. Let's see if I can get a good angle on that for you guys. Both these machines basically have 100% like stainless steel all the way down, but then on the Slowstar it has some ribbing in here with a plastic, which actually is the grinding apparatus. And on the VSJ, they actually, instead of the plastic grinding apparatus on the inside, they actually have some stainless steel ridges inside here and just a few ridges with a plastic. So I think this is a great improvement. Due to the smaller screen size on the VSJ, it will be easier to clean in my opinion. So next, let's go ahead to the next part here, which is the automatic wiping blade system. So at first glance you can see, oh, this one's white. It actually has 2 blades, and if you look at this one, it's black, and oh, it has 4 blades. Well, actually, what you're really looking at here is 2 blades. 2 of these are just hard plastic, so these are actually not blades at all, so they will be pretty easy to clean. The other thing to notice is that there's a lot more plastic area on this spinner, the wiping blade system, so you have to clean this off. So I kind of like the more compact size. Smaller size equals less overall space to clean. In addition, one of the main things that you'll notice about these wiping blades is on the bottom of the blades. The bottom of the blades on the Slowstar basically has these gears here, which basically is how this piece spins. We'll see that in the next bowl piece, the little gear that spins all this. But in the VSJ, actually, there's no, you know, gears on the bottom. Now, I like this a lot because, you know, what you may not know is that I've cleaned this juicer, man, at least 100 times. And sometimes pulp and stuff gets in here, and this is a bit challenging to clean. You got to scrub it, takes a bit of time to clean. And that's no longer an issue on the VSJ because the gears are no longer running the automatic wiping blade. How this is run actually on the VSJ is actually through the auger. So the auger actually sits in the top here, and when the auger is spinning, it moves the wiping blade, so it deletes this the gearing on the bottom, which makes the juicer easier to clean, and actually also gives a benefit to the next part that I'm going to share with you guys next, which is the main juicing body. So this main juicing body here is basically where the juice gets extracted out to. The juice comes out one side and the pulp comes out the other side. So both these machines basically have a little juice tap here that you can close to mix juice inside the machine. This is also good to make things like nut milks. This also prevents leaking and drips on your counter when you're done juicing, so I like that a lot. The Slowstar, as I did mention, did have some challenges with it leaking, so they have upgraded to a nice heavy-duty red bushing that now prevents most of the leaking, although all vertical juicers, inherent in the design, may leak a little bit, especially if you're not feeding and using it properly. So then, as you guys can see on this juicer, there's a little gear there. I mean, I could kind of point to it right there. It's a little white gear that spins, and that's what drives the wiping blade. And, I've had challenges where pulp will get wrapped around this little gear, and then you gotta clean underneath it. It can be a little bit of a challenge, but I always get it clean. But, we're gonna see that that's been deleted on the VSJ juicer. I like that a lot. Now, on the bottom of the Slowstar juicer, there's this little red tab here. This red tab has a little silicone flap, and this flap, the job is to keep the back pressure on the produce and not let it escape out until it's dry. So this is basically just a flap on a hinge, and that's pretty much similar on both machines. In addition, I like that the Slowstar actually has a nice handle on it so that you can easily pick it up, and when the juicer is fully assembled, you can pick it up with the handle. So next, over to the Omega VSJ bowl, and this is a little bit more sleek unit. It's a little bit more stable. It doesn't have that little gear in the bottom to turn, so that's going to make it easier to clean. It looks like they also have actually a fairly heavy-duty bushing in here that's going to prevent leakage, hopefully. I don't have a lot of air time or juice time with this juicer as of yet to know how much or how little it leaks. It also has that spout cap on here, which I like. It's a little bit more better motion than the Slowstar. It doesn't actually have a ring around it. Let me show you guys that. This one has the ring around it like it was an additional add-on, and the one on the Omega looks like it was actually just a built-in from the get-go. Also, I kind of like the shape of this funnel as it comes out. It's almost like stylized versus this is just more, plain. So it kind of goes out to a larger funnel. Also, looks like it has a nice little drop down on this, a little bit better, so the juice is going to flow out a little bit easier. Now, on this little flap on the bottom of the Omega VSJ, it's actually a lot smaller, so it's less to clean, and the hole where the pulp is ejected out of this chute is smaller as well. So that's going to be really interesting to see if this gets a lot of backlog or jams on it. But then Omega has also increased the size of the ejection port here, which is nice because that makes getting in there to clean it much easier. Overall, the size of these guys, the capacity are pretty much similar. It looks like the Slowstar may have a larger capacity if you're doing mixing inside the juicer. Next, we're going to go get to the motor bodies. So just picking up these motor bodies, this is fairly heavy, and let's see this one. Oh, it's probably about as heavy. I'd probably say the Slowstar probably weighs a little bit more than the Omega VSJ body. And now the thing is, both these machines, once again, have full 10 years and 15 years on the motors. In my experience, the motors is one of the things that rarely fails. Other vertical slow juicers on the market may have a long motor warranty, such as 10 years, but then only have 2 years on all the different parts. Both these machines have full 10 years on the motor itself and all the parts. As I said, the VSJ has a 15-year on the motor and all the parts. Now, the motor is a thing that's probably not going to fail, but some of the parts may fail on you. Some of the parts that I've seen fail the most on the vertical slow juicers myself are the screens. If you're feeding the juicer improperly, we may have screen breakage. I actually haven't seen any screen breakage on either of these two models. One of the other challenges I have seen with these Slowstars that I have seen challenges with this gear, they're wearing out or breaking, and once again, that's not going to be an issue on the Omega VSJ. So it looks like they've basically taken the Slowstar design, improved it, and kind of made it their own, hopefully not infringing on any patents. So with that, let's go ahead and reassemble these machines to show you guys how to do it, and then we're going to finally get into the juice off. We're going to juice 2 pounds of carrots in each of the machines to find out which juicer will reign supreme in this juice off. Alright, so to assemble the VSJ juicer, very simple. We're going to take the bowl and it just sets in, which I like a lot. There's nothing to lock in place. Next, of course, we're going to go ahead and take the automatic wiping blade and the screen, It's very important when you put this in that the screen is properly seated. If you just line it up, you know, the bottom's flush, it's not going to be seated. So I like to take my hand and basically push my thumbs in to push this screen, because the screen will go in a little bit further. And then basically we put this screen in there and rotate it until it drops down. There are no dots to align or anything like that. So this is an improvement, because many slow juicers you have to align all these dots and it can be a little bit complicated. Next, we're just going to drop this auger in with these little wings here going into the screen that it's going to drive, the little cleaning screen. Next, we take the top, and there's one arrow on the top. You're going to basically take the arrow, put it to the back of the juicer, and then you're just going to rotate it to line up the arrows, and that's really easy to assemble. Like probably the easiest to assemble vertical slow juicer that I've ever had. So let's go ahead and assemble the Slowstar. First, we're going to take the juicing bowl, going to hold it by the handle. The handle kind of goes back and lines up with the little gear here on the top of the motor base. You're going to put it down in there and then rotate this to the left to close it and to lock it into place. Next, you're going to go ahead and take your wiping blade, put that on the screen, and that just goes into place there. Next, you're going to take a look at this white little dot. You're going to line up that white dot with the white dot on top of the bowl. That kind of locks into place, drops down in. Next, we're going to go ahead and take the auger. The auger seats right in there, no problem. Finally, we got to take this red dot on the top of the housing, line it up with the white dot on top here, and we rotate it in place, and now we're all assembled and ready to get juicing. Now, before we get into the juice off, I want to go ahead and turn these machines on side by side so you guys can hear the noise difference before I operate them probably at the same time in the juice off. Here's the Slowstar juicer first. Now, this juicer runs at a low and slow 47 RPMs or revolutions per minute. This is one of the slowest vertical single auger juicers on the market at this time. As you guys can hear, there's like, you hear a little gear noise, and what you're hearing, that little gear noise, what you're hearing is that little gear that's spinning the automatic wiping blade. So this makes it a little bit more loud than the VSJ, as you'll hear in a minute. That being said, these juicers are much more quiet than any centrifugal ejection juicer that spins at 10,000 RPM. So this is a fraction of the RPMs. In general, I like the low RPM juicers because a lower RPM means less oxidation, which will mean more nutrition in your juice. Go ahead and turn that guy off. Now we're going to go ahead and turn the Omega VSJ on. Look at that. I mean, you can actually barely hear that that's running. I don't have to raise my voice. I could talk really soft. I like this a lot. Also, because of the housing on here basically encompasses and surrounds the juicing bowl, I think that also makes it quieter as well. So I mean, if one of the criteria that's important to you is getting the quietest juicer on the planet, man, it's probably the VSJ juicer. In any case, let's go ahead and get set up to do this juice off. 2 pounds of carrots going through both machines. So now we're ready for the weigh-in on this juice off. On the Omega VSJ843 side, we got 2 pounds of washed and topped organic carrots, 2 pounds exactly according to the scale. Over on the next side, we got the Slowstar juicer. Once again, we got 2 pounds exactly of the organic carrots that are washed and topped as well. So let's get into this juice off. First, we're going to go ahead and simply take out the pushers. One of the things I want you not to do when using the vertical juicers are to use the pusher if at all possible. These juicers, one of the features I like a lot, are actually auto-feeding, and you're going to just turn them on and let the machine accept the produce in at the rate they take them in, instead of trying to cram stuff down. If you're trying to cram stuff in there like a centrifugal juicer, you're probably putting in things too quickly into these slow machines. So simply I'm going to go ahead and turn both machines on at the same time. We're going to go ahead and take 1 carrot each, drop it in the machine, and let the machine work on the carrots at its own pace. Now, we are catching the juice in the same exact collection cups. Let's go ahead and move these guys aside so you guys can see the juice off here. Let's go ahead and take the next 2 carrots in there. So far the carrots can fit in. This one looks like it's a little bit tight, so I may have to help it along just a little bit. Oh, and the Omega VSJ stopped actually. Let's go ahead and open this spout here. If you overload the machine, they will stop, so you're going to turn it off, put it in the reverse, and then continue to the on position. Sometimes if this happens on your carrots, you may have to cut the carrots lengthwise so that it's not as difficult for the machine to, juice. Looks like it stopped a second time, so this may be a negative thing on the Omega VSJ. It might not be as powerful enough that it needs to grind up those carrots like the Slowstar is already. And actually, the Slowstar has actually got a thicker carrot this last time. Alright, so this might do the same thing on the VSJ this time. Let's see. Alright, looks like we're juicing pretty good. The VSJ did not get backed up this time. Looks like the pulp's flowing out of both machines. Time for the next carrot, going right in. One of the things I want you guys to, know is that, some people say carrot juice has a lot of sugar in it, and carrot juice, because it has sugar in it, is bad for you. I always want to encourage you guys to do good, better, best, right? Carrot juice containing naturally occurring sugar is 10 times better, in my opinion, if not more, than a soda with sugar in it. Why? The soda with sugar in it has only the sugar water in it, whereas at least the carrot juice has less sugar than the soda. But the other thing the carrot juice has that the soda will never have are the phytonutrients and phytochemicals. This is what makes the carrot juice the orange. It's the beta-carotene, the carotenoids, the antioxidants, all these different things in the carrot juice that are so healthy for you. So don't just say, I'm not drinking carrot juice because it's high in sugar. Of course you want to consult your doctor if you have blood sugar issues and see if it's alright for you. But if I had blood sugar issues, I would in no doubt, be enjoying my carrot juice. And actually, when I first got into leading a healthier lifestyle, I drank carrot juice every single day, twice a day, because carrots are the least expensive vegetable you can buy and derive the nutrition out of. Alright, so the VSJ stopped up one more time. Let's go ahead and continue to juice these carrots in both machines. Alright, so it looks like we're down to our last carrot in both the VSJ and the Slowstar. We're going to drop those guys right in. Now, the VSJ has actually stopped a few times on me that I've had to actually stop the machine, reverse, and continue to go. This is a bit weird. Sometimes it does it and sometimes it doesn't. Looks like it's working really good. The pulp's coming out, both the machines. And then as is the juice is going through a standard strainer. We have identical strainers on both machines to show you guys the pulp that is generated on both machines. Once you put the last produce item into the juicers, you want to, not turn the juicer off immediately after, because it takes some time for the juicer to work to get the last bit of produce and the last bit of juice out of that produce. One of the gauges you can use is looking at the ejection port here. So on the Slowstar, pulp is still moving out ever so slowly, so this means the juicer is still working on juicing, and as you guys can see, it's still dripping out the juice there. Over on the VSJ side, looks like the juicer, there is no more pulp moving, and the juice is very slowly trickling out. We're going to go ahead and put our little flap, the juice flap down, so that no drips will occur on the counter. One of the things I like to do sometimes is tip the juicer up to see if we can get a little bit of juice out, and it doesn't look like there's a lot of juice left in the VSJ. I think the Slowstar's finally done. We're going to go ahead and turn this baby off, and once again we're going to tip this baby up, and yes, there's actually a fair bit of juice still left in the Slowstar. I think due to the new design of the bowl, it kind of helps get things and the juice out, whereas a Slowstar, may get a little bit of a residual juice in the bowl unless you tip it up like this. Once we're done tipping, we're going to go ahead and close the little spout. Next, I always like to put my hand into the pulp bins. Let's go ahead and move these guys front and center for you. So here's the two different pulp catch bins, and we're going to go ahead and check this out. Let's see the pulp on the Omega VSJ. Wow, I'm squeezing it. I have not seen a drip out of my hand yet. They're starting to form up. There was one drip there. Let's go ahead and pick up the pulp on the Slowstar juicer. Again, these are the carrots out of the same bag, and out of this, there's a bit more, drips coming out of my hand. These juicers definitely made a really dry pulp. That being said, I can say without a doubt that the Slowstar pulp was a little bit wetter than the VSJ. Next, what I want to do is I want to take a look at the pulp generated. So all vertical juicers do make pulp in the juice. How much is the question? So what I've done is actually on top of the little juice catch containers, I've actually put a strainer. So what I always like to do is I like to strain the juice out. So we'll shake this strainer down, get some of the extra juice that's remaining in the pulp out. And so we got a fair bit of pulp on the Slowstar. Next, we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing on the Omega VSJ. Shake that down. Getting shaken down, man. All right, so this is really telling. Check this out, guys. So I want to hold the pulp up, and you guys can see. Look at that. See the difference in the pulp? Like, there's a lot more pulp in the Slowstar juicer created than the VSJ. I mean, I'd say like at least 4 times more pulp. So if you like extra pulp in your juice, like some people like the orange juice with the pulp in it, then maybe you want to get the Slowstar because it makes a lot of pulp in the juice. That being said, the Slowstar does include a strainer to strain out the extra pulp if it's not desired. On the VSJ, there is much less pulp first time through with no extra straining. If you did want a pulp-free juice on the VSJ, you will want to purchase an extra strainer to get all that pulp out. That being said, this is the least amount of pulp that I've seen generated on any vertical juicer so far. So now let's go ahead and compare the yields out of both juicers. Looks like over on the VSJ side, looks like we got about a little bit over 12 ounces of juice. And over on the Slowstar side, looks like we got about 12 ounces of juice. So, I mean, this is a close race. I mean, I think that the VSJ probably made about 7% more juice, which is not a lot. But the other thing is that it actually made less pulp in the juice the first time around. And if we were to add the pulp in the juice, that would show that the Slowstar would be the clear winner because it did add a lot of pulp, which would add volume to the juice. I removed the pulp so that now this is no longer a factor, so we should have a finely strained out juice in both machines because we did use the strainer. That being said, of course, the juicing with the Slowstar went a lot easier, did not stop at all. We put the carrots in there, it piled through them, no problem whatsoever. On the VSJ, it probably did stop about a half dozen times. We did the stop, hit the reverse button, and have it keep going. So there you guys saw it, the differences between the Slowstar juicer and the Omega VSJ. Of course, the Omega VSJ does cost more than the Slowstar, so you need to determine which juicer is going to be the best for you. If it's worth just a 7% difference in yield in carrots and yield in other produce items may vary, and I hope to do future juice offs on different produce items as well in the future. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode learning about the Slowstar juicer and the Omega VSJ. If you're interested in purchasing a juicer or need to learn more about these appliances, please be sure to check the links down below in the description of the video for direct links to these products at discountjuicers.com. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and be sure to visit discountjuicers.com/YouTube for special promotional offers for our YouTube visitors. Alright, this is John Colo at discountjuicers.com. Today we have another exciting episode for you, and what we got today for you is a brand new juicer. I always love when a brand new juicer comes in and I get to test it for you guys and show you guys first before anybody else in the nation gets